Welcome. In this video, I hope to outline the steps to follow before beginning your Plan II thesis project. You might be wondering, is this video even necessary for a two-step process? It will only take a week to complete. For some of you, that will be true. The pre-registration process will take very little time. For others, it can take weeks and sometimes months to finalize a topic and find a supervisor and second reader, both of which are required for the Plan II thesis project. With nearly 150 students in some phase of the project, pre-registration, conducting research in TC 660HA, or finishing their project in TC 660HB, it is necessary to cover all of our bases, and we want to demystify the process as much as possible. There are a few helpful tips from students who have completed the thesis that you should know before you even begin the pre-registration process. This advice applies to students completing a departmental honors thesis with a double major or dual degree, too. 1. Your topic should be exciting. This is a 12-month or more project, so pick something you care about. 2. Choose advisors you are comfortable with. You will need to be able to discuss ideas and get things wrong or slightly off without being scared of them. Value suggestions from your supervisor, second reader, and the Plan II faculty advisors, but also communicate clearly what you want for your thesis. 3. Do not procrastinate. Seriously. This is the #1 takeaway every year. This pre-registration process is a good way to practice meeting important deadlines and to remind yourself that the size of the project is manageable when broken down into small parts, like getting your topic approved. Before we go any further, we should address the differences between a Plan II thesis project and the approved departmental honors thesis projects. Both satisfy the Plan II degree requirement, but it is up to you to determine the best route for your interests and next steps after graduation. The big difference between the two options is specificity in a single field of study. As you can see, the departmental honors thesis is a more technical option in that it is specific to one field of study, such as chemical engineering or history. This can be an excellent value add for students planning to study in that field further in graduate or professional school. Not all majors offer an honors thesis option, and those that do often have specific qualifications. Please consult with your major advisor to determine if this might be an option for you, and then confirm with Plan II advising that it is an approved substitution for the Plan II thesis. The Plan II thesis is designed to be an interdisciplinary project, which means we support creative projects and projects that connect more than one field of study or topic of interest. What will be important to our faculty advisors during the approval process is that you have enough academic background to support a thesis topic. We don't want you spending all semester learning about a new topic before you can even begin the real work. If you're considering something outside the parameters of Plan II or other majors, please plan to discuss your ideas with our faculty advisors sooner rather than later. So, where to start? We recommend starting on the Plan II thesis website, which can be found under the Advising tab. And that's where we're going to get this Part 1 form. This website will be helpful to you for the next 3 semesters. A bookmark is not a bad idea. Note the various components of our website, such as our thesis advisor office hours, a sign-up form to schedule topic-approved meetings with our faculty advisors, in this case, Dr. Davis or Dr. Wetlaufer, a step-by-step description of the registration process, helpful resources, and important forms, including the Plan II Thesis Manual, which is required for reading for all thesis students and always useful for students starting the process, and the Departmental Honors Thesis Registration Form. If you know you are conducting a departmental honors thesis, you will need to complete a departmental honors thesis registration form by the 4th class day of the semester you start your project. The rest of this video will outline the next steps for students conducting a Plan II thesis. Moving into the registration process for Plan II, since you're watching this video, you've probably thought a bit about your project, and perhaps you've already had some conversations with UT faculty about your thesis. The whole point of the pre-registration process is to make sure every Plan II student plans out their project before the start of their first semester. We want everyone ready to go on day 1. And we do that with the Part 1 form, which is available on the Plan II website. You will bring this form with you when you meet with our faculty advisors to discuss your thesis topic ideas. This form is a guided brainstorm. It prompts you to determine a strong topic for the Plan II thesis and to get you started on the second part of the process, finding a supervisor and second reader. If you find yourself having a hard time settling on one topic, that's normal and to be expected. Plan on meeting with our faculty advisors early in the process, sometimes a full semester or more in advance, to help you refine your options. It can be smart to come to your meeting with more than one Part 1 form as well. In order to register for TC 660HA, you will need to submit a completed Part 1 form with an approval from our Plan II faculty advisors, as noted down here at the bottom of the page. Once your topic has been approved by the Plan II faculty advisors, you can start reaching out to potential supervisors and second readers more formally. Please note that a potential thesis advisor must have a teaching appointment at UT Austin for the 2 semesters you are planning to conduct your research. Aim to set up an in-person or Zoom meeting with potential supervisors and second readers, and bring the Part 2 form with you to share. Email is not often the best way to communicate your complex ideas. When a potential supervisor or second reader confirms that they will work with you on the Plan II thesis project, please ask them to sign the Part 2 form. A signature lets a Plan II advisee know that this faculty member has agreed to work with you and avoids any potential miscommunication. Plan II is flexible on how you provide proof of a signature. Ask a Plan II advisor for more information. You should also provide this new thesis advisor with a copy of the advisor guidelines attached to the Part 2 form below. The biggest difference between a supervisor and second reader is the time commitment. Supervisors provide more hands-on advice and are generally expected to work with you twice a month throughout the 2-semester project. Second readers will meet with you at least once a month. This is a generalization. Students often have very engaged thesis advisors and meet on a more regular basis. There will also be an ebb and flow to your work and to their availability. You will be expected to complete a planning worksheet with both advisors at the start of both semesters of the project to navigate your time. But back to the Part 2 form. Once you get both signatures, you can submit the Part 2 form to the Plan II office. While this sounds like an easy second step, it can take a lot of time to find a supervisor and a second reader to offer their help. So here are some pro tips. 1, don't take the no's personally. Professors are often very busy and have excellent reasons why they cannot support your project. They often have a colleague or two, though, that they can recommend with similar expertise. Don't be afraid to ask for a recommendation. 2, do make every effort to meet in person. It's a lot harder to say no to someone in person after you've had a chance to get them interested in your idea. So that's why it's important to meet during office hours, either physically in person or by Zoom. To recap, we've outlined the thesis topic approval process and next steps for finding a supervisor and second reader. So we've gone through the Part 1 form. We've looked at the Part 2 form. And now I want to make sure that you understand important dates to remember. We have a timeline in place to make sure you are as successful as possible in this pre-registration process. Generally, the Friday before early registration, the Part 1 form is due. The Part 1 form for TC 660HA will allow you to register for the course. If you're planning on starting your thesis in the spring, you're going to register for TC 660HA in the fall, and that registration process usually starts at the end of October. If you're planning to start your thesis in the fall, you'll register for TC 660HA in the spring, and the form will be due in mid-April. The Part 2 form is always due the Friday before finals. That date is important to note because sometimes the two deadlines are pretty close to each other, so plan accordingly. Some ask, why do we have these dates and are they firm? Yes, they are firm. And the point of the due date is to make sure that you are as successful as possible. Finding a supervisor and second reader once finals come around is very difficult. Many of our faculty are not as available to meet in person or by Zoom because they are no longer holding office hours. So keep that in mind during the process. These aren't arbitrary dates. Truly, they're meant to keep you accountable, and they're meant to make sure that you can start off on the right foot on day one. So what happens when you don't submit the Part 1 or Part 2 forms on time? If you have registered for TC 660HA, you will be dropped from TC 660HA until we receive the appropriate documentation, which can delay graduation for some students. This process is important to keep on top of and to make sure you're holding yourself accountable. If there are any changes to your thesis topic or to your thesis advisors, please notify Plan II as soon as possible. We do want to help you be successful, and we want to help you to meet your graduation timeline. So contact us immediately. To help you get started, I wanted to quickly review the resources available to you on the pre-registration process. Our number one resource are our faculty advisors. Their job with Plan II is to help students be successful in the thesis project, including the pre-registration process. You'll be required to meet with them once to discuss your topic, but you can meet with them more than once or multiple times even to discuss ideas about your topics or best practices for reaching out to supervisors and second readers. If you have a question, they're a really great resource and are here to help. We've touched base on the thesis manual, so we won't spend time on this resource, but please take time to review the manual so that you understand the process as it applies to you. We definitely want to take some time to discuss Texas ScholarWorks. This is the open repository where Plan II theses are posted. It's a great way for you to conduct research on what a successful thesis looks like. Perhaps you'll find topics that are similar to yours or to the ones you're thinking about. By looking at that thesis, you might get some really great sources, or maybe you'll see a potential supervisor or second reader who you can work with. Please utilize this resource. It's very helpful. Eventually, your thesis will be posted to this online repository as well. It's a great value add, especially for those applying to graduate or professional school. We highly recommend that you spend some time taking a look at Eureka. This is a source for all students on campus. It's a way to look at faculty and their projects to get a sense of how faculty are working on campus and what type of research they are conducting. Maybe there's a topic that they're interested in that overlaps with your thesis topic. This is especially useful if you're choosing a topic that's a little outside of your own wheelhouse. You might not have taken a class with one of these professors before, but at least Eureka gives you a starting place for conducting some research on appropriate supervisors and second readers for your specific topic. By virtue of being on Eureka, these faculty members are open to hearing from undergraduate students about research. They might not be available to help you, but at least this offers a good touch point for finding a supervisor and/or a second reader. Finally, we want you to know that there are thesis grants available to you from the Plan II office. Our thesis grant application is available for the fall and spring and summer semesters. For the fall and summer semesters, the application is open mid-January to early March. For the spring semester, the application is open at the end of August to early October. This is an excellent resource to aid your project. The thesis grants can be used for travel, but there are many other reasons to use this grant, such as pricey technologies that might be needed for your project. If you think that you might need a grant, we highly recommend that you visit this page to get a sense of whether or not Plan II will help to offset some or maybe even all of your costs related to your thesis project. We don't want monetary investment to be a barrier to your success in this project. Those are the big resources. Of course, there may be others that will be applicable to your project. So please come in and talk to our directors or to Plan II Advising to think through your options as it relates to the Plan II thesis. If you are planning to study abroad the semester before you start your project, please start the pre-registration process early. It is best to complete the Part 1 and Part 2 forms before you leave. It can be very difficult to complete the pre-registration requirements abroad because it's better to speak with faculty in person, and it's hard to focus on your thesis when you want to be experiencing everything you can abroad. Many of our students who did not get their topic approved or find their thesis committee before going abroad struggle to find their appropriate supervisor and second reader and start their projects on time. If you have questions, you can always come and ask Plan II advisors. We love to discuss thesis plans with Plan II students, so come early with your questions and often. We want to leave you with a couple words of advice. One, we want you to talk to Plan II early and often. If you have questions, we've heard them before and we want to be able to help you. Two, do not procrastinate. We cannot say that enough. Three, try to have fun. It's really exciting to be able to conduct your own independent research on a project that you have conceived. So make sure that it's something that you can live with for a full academic year and that you're enjoying the process, because that's really the point of our thesis requirement. It's not to torture you, I promise. We want students to learn how to conduct research with faculty who are engaged with the question, and we want you to contribute something, even if it's a small piece, to the overall dialogue about your research question.